Hello and welcome to D.O.O.M Podcasts.
where we reach to the depths of our minds to share our stories, experiences, and advice with you. My name is Kenzin.
My name is Baxel, and today's topic will be about public speaking and public performing.
Yeah. So, we're gonna start off with our story section, like always. I'm gonna tell you, kind of my story of how, I kind of got to the point that I'm at with, my speaking skills and how good I believe they are. And I do believe that, I'm a pretty good public speaker. I don't really get, nervous around people. I don't really, stutter. I mean, I do stutter, but, not of nervousness. It's just, I don't know. I have a weird brain, okay? But, basically, it all started back in 7th grade when, I was put into a theater class that I did not sign up for. It just was randomly on my schedule, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So I did it, and I kind of kept on doing theater, and I'm still doing theater to this day. So yeah, I basically just from doing theater classes, it's really easy actually to improve your nervousness because they have you perform in front of audiences and in front of people. So if you, do that more often, the more you do it, the less kind of awkward it is. And so the reason I'm actually doing this podcast right now is because Damian here has some sorts of speaking issues, to say the least. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, because he might have done a really good job of hiding it, because he's a good editor. But last podcast, he said a lot. All the time, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to help him out with that. So what you kind of need to do when you're telling a story, I mean, obviously we don't want to have a script, because if we do have a script, that kind of makes the podcasts less,
It just makes it boring.
Yeah. At least for us. Maybe not for you, because you wouldn't even know if we had a script. If we did have a script and we were reading off of it, you would have no idea, because you can't see us right now. But, for us, that's boring because, we're just kind of reading instead of actually having a genuine conversation. And so we like to keep it open mic and whatnot. So we don't like to have scripts. And, I mean, obviously that is one way to help with saying all the time or stuff like that. But, I said it. No, but, if you don't have a script, my kind of best solution to it is I always think about what I'm saying. So when I'm talking, I really just focus on what I am saying and how I sound. That way I know I'm not saying words over and over again. I'm doing it right now for some reason. But it's not too hard to do if you just start thinking about how you sound, and usually when you think, that's how you sound. When you hear yourself speak, that's kind of how you sound to other people. So if you can just kind of envision that and picture what you sound like all the time, then it'll help you a lot. If you just kind of think about it and be like, oh shit, I just said the same word 5 times, I should stop doing that and start trying to put more control into what you're saying instead of just kind of letting your mouth flow. You gotta really think about what you're saying while you're saying it, so that you kind of don't go off topic,
Yeah, I get what you mean. So I think that I'll just start explaining the story that I have, because it's kind of convoluted and it's kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just keep it short a little bit. I'll just say it how I think. So during elementary school, I had a problem with speaking since pretty much I was born. But during elementary school, I had a lot of things that happened, say the dance, we had a, God, what do you call it? A Valentine's dance.
Mm-hmm.
And asking people that I didn't really talk to, or because I didn't ever talk to anyone. I don't like to talk to people. I didn't want to make it harder than it has to be. I just wanted school to be over so I can go home and sleep.
Accurate.
So the problem is that I didn't talk much, and even at home I barely talked. When it became junior high, I believe everybody else, they call it middle school or whatever. So junior high came, and I still didn't speak. I was the silent kid in the class that nobody knew, nobody talked to, nobody knew how cool he was. I'm not cool.
Okay, well, I can actually confirm this because when I met you, it was, in fact, in 8th grade in junior high school. And I do remember, like, for the first little while during our friendship, it was mostly just me telling jokes and stuff and you laughing at them. Like, you didn't talk much, but I was able to make you laugh, so that was kind of enough for me to be like, hey, this guy's cool, Eventually he did kind of get better, and he started, like, joining in on jokes and stuff and trying to, like, just kind of be more normal. I mean, not saying that he wasn't normal, but just being more normaler than he was. You feel me? But, yeah, he's apparently... I'm just now hearing this, actually, that he didn't talk much a while ago, and that's really fair, actually. If you don't talk a lot, or, like, you just kind of don't, like, communicate very often because you're awkward or whatever, and you just don't want to, or... That's kind of, a good, like, little, like, reason, like, a really good reason. Like, that will definitely, increase your speaking problems. And that's kind of not the greatest thing ever, because, if you have speaking problems later in life, you're not gonna, be as confident in yourself during, like, a job interview or something like a podcast like we're doing now. It's, you really need that, confidence, and, you need to know how to speak properly, at least at an early age. So, like, if you're young and you're watching this video or listening to this podcast right now, I recommend you start talking to people. Just be more social, If you're more of an introvert, that's also totally fine. But, like, still try to talk to people sometimes. Maybe not as much as the extroverts out there will, but if you really want to talk to a lot of people all the time, and you start, like, talking to more and more people and just talking more often, you will get better at it. You will understand grammar and, like, spelling more easily. And some people, like Damian, have dyslexia, and he constantly spells things wrong, and it kind of pisses me off, but I know he has dyslexia, so I just ignore it.
Deal with it.
Yeah, I do.
You can't do anything about it.
So, yeah, just, talk to people, talk more often, and you'll get better at talking, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So, during junior high, I'm not sure when this happened, but my parents got divorced. And this kind of started, like, a roll of events that happened, and it just pushed me farther and farther to not speak. So, like, everything is okay now. You don't need to, call the cops and tell me I need a foster home or, whatever, because fuck you.
All right.
But I did not have a good life growing up. And, like, when I was littler, before, like, school started, my grandparents would take me out on the road so that they could, like, keep me away from all this stuff that was happening, because they didn't want me to be exposed to that type of stuff at such a young age. I still wasn't exposed much to it until I figured out, like, it was like I was a child being a robot, and I became sentient.
Wow.
And I know everything.
Well, okay. I kind of see what you're saying. Like, if you're at a young age, you don't want to, like, see that type of stuff, and you just don't really want to talk about it, because, that is definitely more reason not to talk. And that kind of led you to where you are now, where you aren't really capable of speaking at, like, such a high level as people like myself, who have been speaking in front of people and speaking to people a lot for pretty much all of my life. People that might have, like, a similar situation to you, that have speaking problems because they didn't speak much when they were younger, they're not, like, a lost cause. You just really need to focus on what you're saying and just try to talk more. If you only talk to, like, one person very often, try to bump it up to two, just try to talk to more people, be more social, and the more you talk, the better your skill will become, the less nervous you'll be about what you're saying. And sometimes I still choke on my own words, like, sometimes even during podcasts, or it's mainly when I'm in like really public situations with like big groups of people. Sometimes I'll choke on my words, and I don't really know how else to describe it other than simply choking on my words. But like I'll just be like in the middle of a sentence and then just go like, you know, like I'll just kind of like my throat will just freeze up for some reason, and I'll just go and then just continue talking. I I don't know if you've ever seen it happen to me, but like it happens sometimes, and it's kind of embarrassing. But like I just kind of ignore it and continue to speak what I was talking about. And you know, like if you fuck up when you're speaking, just ignore it. Don't like pay any regard to it. Don't be like, oh, excuse me. Just continue speaking. It makes you seem more confident to other people. So yeah, that's also some more advice.
Yeah, I get what you mean, and yeah, I completely understand it, and I think that's actually really helpful. Another, like, I'll just keep the story going, and
Alright.
then we'll interrupt because that's what a conversation is about.
Open mic.
Yeah. So because my parents were divorced, my dad, like, so I don't want to say the reason that they broke up or whatever, because I'm not really sure about it, but my dad started to do like very intense drugs. This includes like heroin, meth, almost anything you can think of, and
Wow.
it started off with like painkillers. I know that for a fact. But what this would do is cause him to be like very aggressive, and like he would yell at us, like the kids, because because at that time he had 3 going on 4. We would get yelled at, and it's like really aggressive, and I would try to talk back, and when I did, it just caused him to become. I was probably making a lot of fucking noise with this rock.
Yeah, you were.
I was probably becoming, it was probably becoming a problem, to the fact that like I just started not to talk even less. Like I would just take the blame for things that I didn't even do. Things that I didn't even do. And then like I just pressed it into myself, and I kept my emotions like in myself because I wanted to be the older person and help take care of my siblings. And the like it's good to show that you're tough, but it's not good to compress your feelings, because what caused it to be is for me to have PTSD and anxiety. And like I'm sure a lot of people know what it is, but like it's more how do you say, it's a lot more real to us than what just the definition is. Like the people that have it, they experience a lot more than what you could ever think of. And for me, like, I can't understand people arguing or screaming, or I can't understand loud things. I can't understand people breaking things. I can't do any of this. And I can't stand people crying. I can't stand children that much because
They cry a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. To be honest, like, you probably have kind of a hard time when my stepdad gets drunk at my mom's house, because like he'll randomly start fights. He'll start yelling really loud, and he'll like at one point he actually got really mad. He slammed his phone down on the table and just completely shattered it. Like it was just his own fucking phone that he just broke for no reason. He would always like slam the sliding glass door so hard that it seemed like it was gonna break. I don't know why. I think when he gets drunk, he gets really angry, and then he goes out into his garage and cries himself to sleep. Well, not really to sleep, but he just cries a lot when he's drunk. I don't know. He gets really emotional basically when he's drunk, and he starts fights over little stupid things. And I mean, he's still a nice guy. It's just that when he gets drunk, he's different, you know? And I feel you there. Like, if you've had PTSD because of things like that, it's definitely more hard to, like, kind of express yourself. What the fuck? It froze for a second, sorry. It's definitely more hard to kind of express yourself about that type of stuff, because, you know, you don't really want to talk about it because it brings back bad memories. that makes sense.
Yeah, I I'm o- I really the thing is like I like public speaking because I can show things that I've experienced and people can understand it and feel empathy, but they can also like I can feel empathy for them because a lot of people are going through things that I might be talking about, and that's kind of it brings to like the things that I want to do. Like I had a problem for a while. I had a problem with losing weight, and like I was really um I was really harsh on myself about my body and my like the way I look. So I would like learn about helping people like lose weight, and it would although it would help me, I try to help more other people than it would help me because I don't feel selfish, and I hate feeling selfish. What the fuck?
I think you accidentally hit the wire.
Oh, like I don't like to feel like I guess it kind of connects with me in more because I know that there's other people out there that feel the same thing, and it's good to say these types of things. Another thing, like with the anxiety thing, as some you may know, I'm a musician, and I've done like performances for schools, and like at our schools during music class we would have performances. These performances would be on stage for in front of the whole school and whatnot. Like I've done that too, and I feel like it kind of connected me more to music because it was a way to express myself without feeling like I have to say something and without feeling that I'll mess up because of some reason.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't feel that you are good at speaking, then going up and doing it is going to be a lot harder for you because, like, if you don't feel that you're good, you aren't good. It's simply that. If you tell yourself you're good at speaking, or if someone tells you you're good at speaking, you will be good at speaking. You just have to have confidence in yourself because, like, if you're out there, like, on the stage or, like, in front of a bunch of people or in a group of friends even, and you're just telling a story or talking about literally whatever it might be, anything, and you're just thinking in your head, what if I mess up? What if I stutter on my words? And that I'm never think that. Like when you're in a group situation, when you're talking to a bunch of people, never think that. It might actually happen if you're not thinking it, but it will definitely happen if you are thinking it. Because like if you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna mess up, oh man, you're just gonna stutter a lot, kind of like I was just doing.
Yeah.
But like if you're out there thinking like, I'm gonna tell this story, I'm gonna get it A1 barbecue sauce, you're gonna get that story nice and perfect, you're gonna get every little detail in, and you're not gonna mess up once. You might mess up once, but at least at that point it won't be embarrassing because you can just continue like you were before. If you're just in your mind thinking like, yeah, I got this, if you're confident about yourself in your mind, you will succeed. That's simply how it is.
So I completely agree, and that's kind of what I do all the time. But there's a lot of things that happen when you do this type of stuff. It's better for you to speak confidently, and even though I'm completely not confident, I act like I am because it kind of like if you act like it'll happen, type of thing.
It's the placebo effect. If you believe something, it'll be true. And
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know what the placebo effect is, allow me to explain. Simply, the placebo effect named after an experiment. Essentially, the experiment was there were several people who all had symptoms of the same cold, and there was 4 actually. 2 of them were given actual pills that were supposed to stop the cold, and 2 of them were given empty pills that did nothing. But they were all told that those pills were going to stop the cold. And guess what? Every single one of them got better. Even the ones with nothing in their pills. Why? Because they believed that what they took was going to help them. And therefore they got better. It's simply the placebo effect. If you believe something, it will be true. As long as you just really truly believe, like, I am good at speaking, you will be eventually. It might not happen instantly, but the more you think you are and the more you start trying to be, the more you will be,
That's like it's like practice. Like
Yeah.
See, I'm doing it again, stuttering like I always do. I'm sure I have a lot more problems than that I seem to know of. Just saying. But like, if you don't know what anxiety, do you have anxiety?
No. I do know what it is. It's essentially like you're nervous about what's going to happen.
Yeah, basically it's like an overexpressive, like you're worried, you don't feel good, you feel like something's gonna happen, you're like your mind's gonna be racing, and you feel like it's kind of there's a game that kind of explained it really well, and I'm sure that we can find it and I'll show you it.
All right.
But like anxiety makes you feel like complete garbage, like
Makes you feel like you're gonna mess up and people are gonna hate you because of it, and then you just can't stop thinking about that, and
yeah, it's like
it just completely takes over your brain of just the thought of like, I suck, no one likes me. It's not easy to deal with. I don't know personally, but from what I've heard, it's really difficult to deal with.
yeah, so like you start to breathe like very heavily, like you're self-aware pretty much, you're aware of everything that's happening right now, but you're not aware of the other people. You're just worried so much. What the fuck? You are just worried so much, and there's a lot of things like, I'm sure that there's many types of anxiety. I've seen things about it, and there's like different types and whatnot, but for me it's more like just being public, like anything in public in general. Like I'll be at the store and there's too many people that, okay, I'll just tell a story of like what happened recently. So I was at Little Caesars and I was pulling out my wallet to pay for a pizza, and like I was starting to panic because there was so many people in the store, even though it was like only 6. And then like when I pulled out my wallet, I was like, oh my god, did I pull it out wrong? What am I doing? Oh shit, I'm taking too long to pay. And then I messed up putting the card into the slot because I have like, one of those chips. I took too worried, and it was kind of like that one meme. It's like
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Insert meme here, me, because I'm the editor.
Okay.
So like that type of thing, and like I was worried about what are people thinking, that I just messed up on putting my card. It's like it's so easy, like how did I mess up on doing this? But like that's
the thing
it's
is
like overexpressive of something super small that nobody cares about.
As essentially it's I actually saw a quote recently on the counselor's desk, one of the counselors at my school, when I was there getting my schedule changed. There was a quote on her desk that read simply, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. And that really makes sense, because if you're depressed, it's because you're like thinking about something that happened in your past, and like something that made you really upset and has permanently, well, not permanently, but like scarred you pretty hardly. And so you're kind of living in the past if you're depressed, But if you're anxious, you're thinking about what's gonna happen and how people are gonna think about you, and you're living in the future technically. So that's a really interesting quote. I'm not entirely sure who said it, but I did see it, and I thought I wanted to share that because that kind of was like on topic. But also what am I saying? Oh yeah, so if you're anxious about how you appear to others, or if people are gonna think you're dumb, or anything like that, people judging you, what you honestly have to think about is a lot of the time that's not really the case, because like, what the fuck are the fucking waves doing?
You're probably hitting like the thing with your.
I'm not doing anything. Sorry. So if you're like super self-aware and self-conscious about what you're doing all the time, because you think like, oh, people are gonna judge me in their heads, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that people are gonna think I'm not as cool as I am. What you really have to realize is a lot of people are really similar to you, and a lot lot of people are thinking the same thing about themselves so much that they're not even gonna notice anything about you. And like, think about it, Damien. When you're sitting there fucking around with your credit card, thinking, "Oh, people are gonna think I'm dumb." Did you pay any attention to the people that you thought were gonna think you're dumb?
No.
Exactly. So a lot of people are similar, and a lot of people are gonna be more worried about themselves, like too worried about themselves to even look at other people to be able to judge you. You know. So that's kind of my opinion on it. That's kind of what I always think. I always think like, oh, no one gives a shit about me. I'm just some random fucking guy. Like, no one cares, right? That's kind of why I just, am confident about myself, because I know no one really cares what I have to say. Or, I mean, people care what I have to say, but people, like, don't care if I fuck up when I'm saying it, or, like, if people don't really care if I take an extra second to pull out my fucking wallet, It's shit like that kind of gets you held up, and it's kind of weird, but, like, those are things that anxiety people have to deal with, and to me, like, the only reason I really don't have anxiety is because I think, like, no one cares. Why should I care what other people think? Even if they do care, which they probably don't, I don't really care what they care, because, like, I don't know them, So, go ahead, speak.
Yeah, so, like, another thing that I have is a problem with sleep. I tend to, like, stay up way too late just worrying about things that's going to happen in the future, and, like, there's no reason for me to worry, but I do, and I have anxiety attacks when I'm trying to go to bed. Like, that's kind of, it's crazy how stupid anxiety is, but this is how it works, and I wish I didn't have it, but, you kind of just have to deal with it. I kind of deal with it, just, I listen to music. That's another thing, it's like, the reason why I like music so much is because I can be expressive and listen to expressions without saying a damn thing. And that's why, like, I don't listen to other people. I don't listen to, like, songs. I don't know why I said other people. I don't listen to songs in, like, just by themselves. I listen to them the entire album, because I like to listen to, like, the progression and the story, because I guess I don't really know where this is going. It's just like, I started to do this thing, and it's kind of a thing that just calms me down. That's why I like music so much, and that's why I started picking up guitar, and I picked up bass, and I started learning to sing, even though I'm pretty much terrible at it because I have a very deep voice. But it's like, if I learn to be good at something, then only people would care about that, and then I don't have to worry about anything else.
That's true. If you are good at one thing, people aren't gonna notice the bad things about you. They're gonna know you for what you're good at, and not necessarily what you're bad at. That's a really good point, Damien. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is really inspiring. Like, for anyone listening to this right now, listening in, if you really feel like people care about the bad things about you, think they probably care more about the good things about you, because most people tend to be more optimists than pessimists, so they're gonna look at the good side of you instead of the bad side. And if they are pessimists, they're not really fun to be around, in my opinion. No offense if you are a pessimist, or if you tend to be more pessimistic at times. I just genuinely don't, like, really enjoy it when you're just trying to have a good time and everyone points out all the bad stuff. Like, I don't like those people that much, and it's just kind of a personal thing. Like, I'm sure pessimists have lots of friends, or, whatever, but, like, to me, if I'm just trying to have a good time and there's this one guy pointing out all the bad shit that's happening, it kind of pisses me off, and I don't really like it. But, by no means do I genuinely hate the person who is being pessimistic, but just I prefer to be with optimists and, be friends with optimists and whatnot, So, like, most people are optimists, too. Like, it's a lot less common to find a pessimist, so just kind of thinking about that. Like, more people are going to look at the good things about you instead of the bad things, so you shouldn't worry about it so much.
It's like, another thing is, like, to be aware. I guess it's kind of contradictive, or, I don't know.
Contradictory.
Yeah, it's I can't fucking say it, but fuck it. I guess it's like, it's a kind of a thing that you have to think of, like, things are probably going a lot better for you than it seems, and it could be a lot more joyful experience if you just, take your breath and realize everything's gonna be okay and type of thing. Like, that's just how it is. I mean,
Yeah. To be real, if if you have like anxiety problems, if you're like anxious about something, just kind of like take a deep breath and think like, even if those people do judge you, it's not going to harm you. You're not gonna die. You're gonna be fine. It's, really in my mind, like, the reason I'm not afraid of too many things is because like I know a lot of things can't actually kill me. Like I'm not really afraid of spiders. I mean, if I see a spider, I might jump at first because it's a fucking spider and I wasn't expecting it to be there. But like, if it's just a fucking spider, like if I be nice to it, it'll be nice to me. Like, if I just leave it alone, it's not gonna bite me. So usually when I see things like that scare most people, I just leave it alone and it's fine. Just don't piss it off and it won't fucking attack you. Like, there's so many people I know that are afraid of spiders, and that's fair. Like, if a spider bites you, it could kill you for all you know. But most of the time, it's just a matter of will they bite you, and if you don't piss them off, they won't. At least for the most part.
so did you know that like you know black widows, right?
Yeah.
So did you know that like you can completely hold them for a very long time and they won't do jack shit to you? They'll most likely try to hide in like the crevice of your hand or something. But the only way that they would ever bite you is if you like crush them or like
Scared them, basically.
yeah, if they feel threatened. That's another thing. It's like with everybody else. If you're threatened, then something might happen. You might run away or you might, you know. But that's like, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was cool.
The spider has no interest in biting you. Oftentimes the way a bite happens is when somebody grabs onto the spider accidentally and is bitten.
Yeah, this is just kind of like, it's kind of becoming like more of like a advice type thing about like fears and anxiety and whatnot, instead of just public speaking, because like there wasn't much to talk about like public speaking. I think maybe we talked about public speaking for like 20-25 minutes, and we've been talking more about like anxiety and helping with that now. And so I guess we can kind of do like a couple of topics, but like the entire like main topic was public speaking and like getting better at talking in public and not being nervous about it. But like, honestly, if you want to overcome a fear, it's not that hard. You just have to think like, it won't hurt me. If it won't, like, and also like think about it. Like, here's a good example. Like, any of you people out there right now, like watching this, that are afraid of spiders, I'm sure every single one of you, or at least really close to every single one of you, has been bitten by a spider before. Whether it be in your sleep or like when you were awake. How bad did that really affect you? I mean, sure, it might leave an itchy little rash on your foot or wherever you got bit for a little bit, but like, you're fine. It doesn't hurt that badly. It, I mean, like, just think about that. I mean, obviously certain spiders are worse than others, but like, most part, like, any super dangerous spider isn't gonna bite you unless you scare it. And the only time usually that people get bit by spiders, unless they're trying to fucking kill it and it attacks them, is if like they're in bed and the spider's in bed with them and they like roll over onto it. That, a lot of the time, that'll get you bit, but like, you have no control over that. And if that has ever happened to you, you know it's not that bad. You can't even feel it when you're asleep, and when you wake up you're like, oh shit, well that's a thing that exists now. It's not even that bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just tell a story of like why I wanted to become like an entertainer or to be able to help people in a way.
All
It's
right.
like I became like very inspired by people like coming to my school and talking like about bullying or whatever. Most people would just rub it off, be like, whatever the fuck. It's like, these people are out there, and I'm pretty sure that they've dealt with this before, and that's why they're doing it. But they've gotten over it, and they've learned that they can help other people with their experience. And I guess that's kind of like what I want to do. Growing up, I was always told follow your dreams and whatnot, but I was also told be a lawyer, be a doctor, make good money, have a good life. It's like, I don't care if I make good money. I don't care if I'm a profession that everybody likes and whatnot. Like, I would rather do something that I enjoy than just listen to what other people are telling me to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. Me personally, I want to be a YouTuber, and not because they get paid a lot of money if they are successful, but just simply because I like to affect people's lives in a positive way. Like, I've seen so many YouTubers where people comment on all of their videos like, "Oh, you make my day." Like every time when I come home, I've had like a bad day. I watch your video, it always cheers me up. I see comments like that all the time, and I always think to myself like, I want to be like that. I want to be the thing that like makes someone's day. You know, I want to be that person, and obviously I do want to get paid for doing it, but not because I want the money, just because I want to be able to do it full time and to help people out full time, whether that be just by me being goofy while playing video games, or if I'm actually sitting here giving advice on a podcast. You know, either way, if I'm helping people, I'd rather be doing that than doing a profession that's like that I'm not happy with, you know.
Yeah, so I started to want to do YouTube for like the longest time because I thought it was just cool, you know. And just like you, I've heard those stories, and I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I wasn't able to like start it. I wasn't sure how to start it. I didn't know what to do. A lot of people told me just wait so that you have the money to do it. It's like, nah, fuck that. You can start from nothing.
If you just
and
have
work your
if you
way
have
up.
a phone with a camera on it and a little bit of memory, you can be a YouTuber. Just set up your phone and record yourself doing whatever you like to do. You can make any passion you have a job. Look at all of these people like that play video games and have made a passion, made a job, and get paid a lot of money off of it just from YouTube because they like to play video games
Where
and
did they
other
start?
people like to watch them. Where did they start? Probably with like a phone recording their screen or something.
Me.
Yep, me too.
Recording Sniper Elite 4.
Yep. That was a fun video. I'll link it unlisted in the description if you would like to watch
I
that.
love that video.
That was a good video.
Even though it was complete garbage for like the view, it was hilarious.
I made it more entertaining by editing it in a
Well, yeah, like,
specific way, you know.
but you edited it with me, so I learned how to edit at the same time.
Yep. So, yeah, it's all a learning experience, but if you have a passion, say your passion is like I don't know, making fucking potato sculptures. Just whip out your fucking phone with your camera and record yourself doing it and kind of explain like I do this because it brings me joy or whatever, and like kind of explain what you're doing and how you're doing it. And there's gonna be at least a few people scrolling through YouTube who see that shit and be like, hey, that's kind of interesting. And eventually more and more people will see it and start telling their friends about it, and you'll get more popular. And once you hit that 1,000 subscriber mark and get like a certain amount of watch time, I'm not exactly sure how much it is, you can start monetizing and making money off of whatever it is that you love to do in your life. Whether that be anything from making potato sculptures to being a fucking architect or like diving for treasure in the sea. You can do any of that stuff. Just record it with a GoPro, like, you know, or anything really. Just make money, get what you need, and do it. You know, it's really inspiring to think like you can do anything you want on YouTube. So yeah, I definitely think you should do that if you want to. At least try it, you know, see how it goes.
That's I'm kind of glad that I met you because a lot of things happened when I met you. So like first of all, I learned like, you know, speaking. I actually had a friend once in my life.
You're someone to talk to. Me, hello, hi, I'm the person.
And then like I realized not everybody's a freaking psychopath.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like you inspired me to start YouTube and nobody else did. And you helped me through it and everything. And honestly, like I feel like we're gonna go somewhere.
I'm hoping we do. I'm really hoping we do.
I had that moment where I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future. We don't know what we're gonna be doing. But like, you kind of come to a sense of reality that everything is gonna be good, and if you work hard enough, everything's gonna go your way.
Mhm.
So you know, just be happy about this, like. And then another thing, like, that's why I wanted to start podcasts. I brought it to you, and I was just like, hey, dude, let's do podcasts. Because I saw people talking about these things, and I realized how helpful they were because I was watching them all the time. And I figured out that, like, you know, podcasts can be almost about anything. But, like, it's the journey, and you have to be willing to take the journey to do these things that you want to do. So even though you have, like, if you have a problem with anxiety like me, or you have a stuttering problem like me, or you have PTSD like me, or you have all these different things, you can still do what you want. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, you can still love it.
Yep, I completely agree with that. If you want to make your life a little bit more fun, start a YouTube channel and meet some people online that like to watch whatever it is you decide to do. And you can even just have fun with those people and talking to them and interacting with them in your comment section of your videos. If not making money off of it, you can at least do that, and that's fun for you. It's fun for me. I love scrolling through the comments and reading what everyone has to say. It's always fun. So, yeah. I don't really know where else to go with this podcast. We've kind of talked about everything. We've given advice about anxiety and whatnot. We've given advice about how to, kind of watch your words so you don't repeat things a lot, kind of stay on track with your storytelling. We've gone over a lot of good advice this video. I'm not sure what else to talk about. If you have any ideas,
if you have questions or you have replies to the things that we talked about in this video, feel free to comment, and we would love to do a second part. Like, this is what it's all about.
Or we could just, if it's simple enough of a question, we could go down and just reply to it in the comments. So
we can make an entire video out off of like a five-word question.
Yeah.
So feel free to comment. If let us know if this was kind of confusing, or if it was like, just give us feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have like stories to tell, we can read it out on the podcast. Let us know.
Yep. And hope you enjoyed listening to what comes from the depths of our minds here on Doom Podcasts, and we will see you in the next one. I've been Kenzin.
I've been by Axel.
And we're signing out. See ya.